Well, welcome and good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here in Hogs Hollow, Toronto. I'm joined by my Minister of Education, Stephen Lecce, and our local champion, MPP Robin Martin. Robin is doing an incredible job delivering results for the people of Eglinton Lawrence. Last year, we provided $3 million to Baycrest Hospital to help them make necessary renovations and upgrades. We've completed 70% of the first phase of the Eglinton Crosstown LRT project, including major station construction and 32 kilometers of track. And we've pledged $3 million to support businesses impacted by the construction. And we're moving forward with $4.7 billion Eglinton Crosstown West extension through Etobicoke with a proposed connection to the airport. These projects will mean more jobs, more business opportunities, and more convenient transit for people living in this community. Today, we're continuing to build on those important investments here and all across the province. As I've said before, if we want to invest in our future, we have to invest in our young people. And today, we're doing just that. This neighborhood continues to grow and thrive, and we need to make sure families and students not only have access to more spaces in schools, but also have access to better schools with modern facilities, the best possible learning environments where kids can reach their full potential and start down the road lifelong success. We've already started that important work with investment for 2019-2020 of $500 million for 30 new schools and 15 renovation projects right across the province. Today, I'm excited to announce that we're making an additional multi-million-dollar investment in the future of the education system. For the coming year, we're investing $550 million. I apologize, $550 million to build another 20 brand new schools and renovate 8 existing schools across Ontario. That's over $500 million to create almost 16,000 more spaces for students, as well as teachers and education staff. And that includes Loretto Abbey. I can tell you folks, this is one of the most beautiful schools I've ever been in. I apologize. First time I've ever had to do that in 8 months. This is one of the oldest schools in Toronto and historic part of this community. Today, we're investing $24 million to provide the school with modern upgrades and create space for 620 more students while preserving the heritage of this building. This includes installing a brand new boiler for heating, upgrading the cooling and ventilation system, and adding more Wi-Fi access and fiber optic cables for high-speed internet access throughout the building. These projects will also help create jobs and support local businesses here in the neighborhood. All of these investments are part of this investment of $12 billion. Oh boy, I got something tickling in my throat. I really apologize, folks. To invest $12 billion over 10 years to build or expand critical school infrastructure, critical projects like our new addition to McKee Public School, Dodgson Middle School, right here in Ontario, and the new Baycrest childcare spaces for the Toronto Catholic District School Board. Loretto Abbey, like most schools across the province, is the heart of the community. And I have to thank all the teachers, staff, and parents in the Toronto Catholic School Board and the Toronto District School Board, and all of the school boards, teachers, staff, and parents across the province for everything you're doing day in and day out to keep our kids safe and ensure they can keep learning during these extraordinary times. We will continue to be there for our students, for our teachers, and for our school boards, both today and for years to come. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. I'll hand it over to Minister Lecce.
Well, good afternoon. I want to thank the Toronto Catholic District School Board community for welcoming us here to Loretto Abbey Catholic Secondary School. As the Premier said, it is a cultural institution with a proud alumni network of women making a profound difference across our province. And I just want to say, before I start, I want to just first off recognize Trustee Rizzo, Director Dr. Brown, And someone who has known me for many years, the principal of this school is a former educator of mine, Mrs. Bellissimo, who has been inspiring young women and men for a generation. And Ms. Bellissimo, it is amazing to see you and presence here at the school and to see you inspiring so many young people as you did for me. So thank you. As you know, we are in the middle of a pandemic, and we remain squarely focused on the safety of our kids and the quality of their learning. Good government thinks ahead, keeps their eye on the ball in the immediate term while continuing to focus for the medium and long term and to plan for it. And we must ensure our schools remain safe, our classrooms are modernized, and that we uphold the highest standards for your kids. We know schools are centers of learning, discovery, and development. They are a safe space for our kids, a place to meet a friend, to build character, and to discover one's vocation. We know parents expect our schools to be improved and state of the art. And that is why in the summer, the Premier announced an investment in the future of our young people in this province, over $500 million investment to build new schools, to renovate existing ones, and to expand access to childcare for working moms and dads. Now more than ever, it's important to get these projects off the ground. Our government's accelerating another investment of $550 million today to ensure schools are in top shape, with 8 permanent additions, including right here at Loretto Abbey, 20 new schools, and 870 additional and affordable childcare spaces for parents. Our investment announced today will help create nearly 16,000 new student learning spaces, spaces that meet the highest and safest standards, which we know from COVID-19 is priority number one. Today's $550 million investment is for this year alone, part of a much larger 10-year, $12 billion investment to rebuild Ontario's schools. That's supported by over $1.3 billion every single year to maintain our schools. Now we're supporting the next generation by building new schools right across this province. Nous construisons des nouvelles écoles à travers toute la province. Here at Loretto Abbey, this historic school will receive, as noted by the Premier, $24 million to upgrade the existing building, expand 620 new student spaces, and improve this facility for the next generation. Now, parents have been a strong voice for this school. Your greatest champion in the Ontario legislature is my friend Robin Martin, your MPP. She has not rested until this project received the approval it deserves, and for that I know our community here in Toronto and across our province is grateful. We have more work to do, but I'm proud that throughout this pandemic, our Premier has now twice announced nearly $1 billion in investment to ensure our schools are modern, state-of-the-art, with the technology and internet, and that have more childcare spaces available to more working people. Thank you, and it's now a pleasure to invite up to the podium the Toronto Catholic School Board Trustee for North York, Maria Rizzo.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am blessed to be here with all of you today representing the Toronto Catholic District School Board. My name is Maria Rizzo, and I am the proud trustee for the Loretto Abbey School community. A very warm welcome to Premier Ford, Minister of Education Stephen Lecce, MPP for Eglinton Lawrence Robin Martin, our new Director of Education Dr. Brendan Brown, Superintendent Christina Fernandez, and of course, the great principal of Loretto Abbey, Principal Bellissimo. Everyone has a story to tell, and today I have a story to tell. In 1927, the Loretto sisters founded this school. Despite its age and need for modernization, Loretto Abbey has attracted young women from across the city for more than 93 years. This building exemplifies exquisite charm. But like most stories go, it is not always what it seems from the outside. No one except the staff and students know the deep, dark secrets that lie behind the surface. I'm about to share some of them with you. Did you know that there is a water stream or a river flowing underneath the school that creates mold? And did you know that Loretto Abbey students and staff endure heat waves and frost bites depending on the day? And it could be summer, it could be winter, we never know, in every classroom. And did you know that the boiler is on its last legs and about to blow any day. Those are just some of the problems that are exemplified in this particular school and have existed for many years. Yet to know Loretto Abbey is to love it. But the thousands, just ask the thousands of young women who have graduated from this school for almost a century. As one put it, Loretto Abbey is magical. And indeed it is. So one day in the year 2020, during a pandemic, 3 champions with magical powers descended from Queen's Park. They waved their magic wands and miraculously made all the wishes and dreams of staff and students come true. Not a minute too soon for Loretto Abbey. It is in desperate need of repair and upgrading. Honorable Premier, Honorable Minister, I am very appreciative that you chose this school for your visit today. I am truly pleased the province is continuing to invest in better buildings for students, and I hope to see you perform your magic on many other school communities in the future. Thank you for your presence here today. I salute you as we celebrate the storied past, the distinguished present, and bright future of Loretto Abbey. Stay safe, and may God's light shine on you always. And I'd like to invite MPP Robert Martin from Eglinton Lawrence to the podium.
Thank you, Trustee Rizzo. And I want to welcome, of course, Premier Ford and Minister Lecce to Eglinton Lawrence and thank them so much for making such an important announcement here this afternoon at Loretto Abbey Catholic Secondary School. To say that Loretto Abbey is an institution in this community is an understatement. Founded in 1847 and located in this current building since 1927, it is one of the oldest educational institutions in the city of Toronto. And we're very lucky to have it here in Eglinton Lawrence. We're lucky also to live in such a vibrant and growing city, but there's no denying that the growth has posed some challenges for our local schools. And as MPP for the area, a top priority for me has been advocating to ensure our school infrastructure continues to keep pace with the demands of parents and the needs of students in a rapidly growing community. And that's why I am so thrilled that the Toronto Catholic District School Board will receive $24 million from the Capital Priorities Program to create 620 new student spaces at Loretto Abbey through upgrades to existing building infrastructure. Once completed, 620 more students will have access to modern, state-of-the-art school facilities here in this beautiful historic building and in their own neighborhood, and all while preserving the heritage and history of this storied building. So I want to thank the Premier and the Minister of Education for their continued leadership on the education file, and I look forward to many, many great things to come. Thank you so much.
Great.
We'll go to the phone line. Oh,
Thanks so much, Robin. And again, folks, I apologize. My first time in 8 months, I had a little tickle in my throat, a little choking fit there. But I'm feeling pretty good, so we're good to go. We'll take the first question.
first question, please.
Your first question comes from Laura Stone with the Globe and Mail. Please go ahead.
Hi, Laura.
Oh, geez. Hi, Premier. I'm not used to going first. This is great. I wanted to ask you about dance studios.
Yes.
We've heard from a lot of small fitness studios who say they're disappointed that dance studios are allowed to reopen, but not them. And they're accusing your government of picking winners and losers in this by literally singling out classes such as Zumba, saying they're not allowed, but dance is allowed. So can you respond to this and explain what was the rush to reopen these dance studios but not allow others?
I understand the boutique fitness areas and how it was explained to me is very, very simple. These groups are coming in, different groups into the boutique fitness areas compared to a dance studio that's there for teaching and showing the kids. And they have a cohort, if you want to call it that, compared to the fitness studios. But don't get me wrong, we're looking into those boutique fitness centers. And then the next question, as we move forward, will be, how about the other fitness centers? And then another, and it just keeps going and going and going, comparing back and forth. I don't think you can compare the dance studios with certain students over and over again to fitness areas. Not I don't want to knock the fitness folks, because I spoke passionately last week about a small boutique fitness area that I'm going to visit in south of Etobicoke. So I'm doing everything I can to make sure that we get these places opened up as quickly as possible. So we'll be reviewing that as well.
Follow up?
Thank you. And just on the mask issue, we saw what happened at the spinning studio in Hamilton with the outbreak there, and they were following the rules, they said, including physical distancing, but they weren't requiring masks. And now dance classes aren't requiring masks. So did you not learn anything from that outbreak? And why wouldn't you have required masks in these dance classes in these hot spot areas?
Well, what I understand, I've only talked to one of the dance studios. I know all our MPPs have talked to their local ones, but they have some really strict guidelines in place. Again, they're cohorts that come in, these students, not too much different than school. They come in, they get taught, and then they're leaving. Compared to, that spin class, what are the cases? Once you do contact tracing, they told me it ended up in the thousands and thousands of people. So I think it's, we're comparing kind of apples and oranges on that one.
Next question.
Your next question comes from Christina Succi with CTV News Ottawa. Please go ahead.
Hi, Christina.
Hi, Premier. Thanks for taking my question today here in
Thank you.
Ottawa. I want to just revisit the conflicting message on trick-or-treating between certain levels of government. I know you don't want to be the bad guy in this, but Dr. Tam said it was okay, and now we're hearing from some infectious disease experts that it's about as low risk as it can get. Our local chief medical officer of health does agree with you, but the reaction we're hearing within our community is people are just overall frustrated and tired of being confused by guidelines they say are not all aligning. So how concerned are you right now that you might be losing people's willingness to listen?
Well, I don't think the guidelines can be any clearer. We have Dr. Etches from Ottawa on side, Dr. DeVilla from Toronto, we have York, we have Peel, we have all the chief medical officers, and yes, you can find a few docs that will disagree all the time. We find all the time a certain group of them, and if I followed some of the advice that I heard from those same people at the beginning, it would be a real disaster. So I could look at it both ways, but I have to take the advice of the chief medical officer, which I have, and move forward with it. But it's very clear. I don't want to. I'm not canceling Halloween. What we're highly recommending: do not go door to door in the hotspot areas. And we've seen it. And if we didn't act quickly, by the way, in Ottawa, I had a good briefing with Dr. Brown. And, if we didn't act, we'd be going over the edge right now in Ottawa, as he mentioned. So I'm glad we made the decisions that we made to keep the people of Ottawa safe. They aren't easy decisions, I'll tell you that.
Follow up?
Yes, certainly not easy decisions. And in terms of enforcement now, with people who may be piling their kids into the car and driving 30 minutes outside of Ottawa to still give them that trick-or-treating experience, or people may be having house parties or larger than they should gatherings inside the house because now they're being told not to go out and trick-or-treating. What's the plan there for enforcing rules?
Well, right from the get-go, and it's a good question. Right from the get-go, the enforcement is trusting the people of Ontario that we've been trusting ever since the beginning of this pandemic, that have been the vast majority of people are listening and going by the guidelines and protocols that we've set out. If you want to load your whole bunch of kids in the car and drive 30 miles or whatever, we don't have enough police. We can't be checking every single car. We can't be checking every single area. If someone has a house party, well, they're being reckless and they're being careless. Guys, the only way we're going to get through this is by following the protocols and the guidelines. It's proven, not just here, but around the world, that if you do these steps, we have a better chance of lowering the cases, getting back on our feet. We did it once before. We can do it again. We will do it again. But I understand, people, as I said the other day, people are on edge. I get it. I hear it out there. I understand it. But again, we have to go with the health advice that is given to us and make a decision based on the advice we're getting from the docs.
Next question.
Your next question comes from Rob Benzie with the Toronto Star. Please go ahead.
Hi, Rob. How you doing?
Hi, Premier. I wanted to ask you about the surprising theme in the legislature this morning when you guys used a friendly conservative question so that you could rise in the House and pay tribute to Kathleen Wynne. What was the thinking behind that, and why now? And I just wondered if you could
Sure.
expand on some of your comments.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Thanks for the question, Rob. Kathleen Wynne announced that she wasn't going to be running again. And I differentiate between politics and the person. Kathleen Wynne is a very nice person. She was never, ever once, ever nasty to me. People ask me how she is. She's a very, very kind person. Do we differ on our politics? Sure. But it doesn't mean she's a bad person. I just want to acknowledge that. And there's only 25 other people since the history of this province that understands walking a mile in my shoes. Some decisions, and even decisions about Halloween. If you make one decision, there's 10 other reactions. And then you make another one, another 10. And she understands that. Making decisions late at night, it weighs on you. And no one else understands it outside of 25 other premiers. And I have a great deal of respect for her. She's a trailblazer in the fact that she was the first female premier, which is incredible. First gay premier, and I congratulate her. Incredible again. So there's many things that she was a trailblazer in. Do we disagree on politics? Sure we do. But I'm sure there's a few things that we agree on too. So I want to wish her all the best. She did a great job working with her constituents, serving the people of Ontario. And I want to wish her all the best.
Follow up.
Premier, were you surprised that the New Democrats, they didn't seem as happy about you using that question to pay tribute to Kathleen Wynne? There was some heckling that we could hear. I don't know if you could hear it where you were standing.
Yeah.
We could certainly hear it in the press gallery above. I wonder what your thoughts on that is. Did you think that was appropriate? Were you troubled by that?
Yeah. Rob, it was totally inappropriate. You've been down there long enough, and when you acknowledge someone, no matter what political stripe they come from, you respect that. Well, I was acknowledging the former premier. The NDP were heckling and shouting out, and then what I understand, Kathleen Wynne went to acknowledge Andrew, and she kind of sloughed her off. Who does that? I'll tell you, who does. A very nasty, unhappy person. That's who does it, and it's unfortunate that Ms. Horvath decided to act that way. It's really disrespectful, and but that I'll leave it up to her to decide if she's going to do that again. But it's uncalled for.
Last question.
Your final question comes from Cynthia Mulligan with City News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hi there, Premier.
Hey.
I'm wondering about the testing that occurred today. There were only 24,049 tests completed. That's about half of what your goal is. What's going on with the testing?
Well, I'll tell you, because I asked the same thing, and the good news is all the backlogs cleaned up, so I want to congratulate them. We had a little blip there for a week, 2 weeks. Now it's all caught up, so anyone who's going to get a test, you can get a result almost immediately, a day later, 2 days later. But right now, we can't force people to come in for a test, no matter if it's in North Rexdale or up in Northwest Toronto, where we're seeing some issues. We're encouraging people to get there. We're putting pop-up testing centers, be it in Brampton or other areas. If you're showing symptoms, please get tested.
Follow up.
So are you saying it's not because of a lack of testing on the government and lab end that it's people not coming in? Because we did check with some of the hospitals, and they actually have far more openings for testing than they did last week and the week before.
Yeah, Cynthia, I've never seen anything like it. Remember before I was begging people to come in, then a whole bunch of people showed up, and then we're geared up. We have the capacity now to do upwards to 50,000, and people aren't coming in. So I don't know if that's good news, bad news, but maybe people aren't showing the symptoms. And if you're showing symptoms, please come in and get tested. That's the most important thing. We just haven't been able to get enough people there, and anyone who's coming is getting tested and getting results pretty very quickly.
Thank you.
And I want to give a shout out to the testing folks and Matt Anderson again. He was in a real bind, but he pulled himself out of it, and the whole team, and now we're back at it, full steam. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.